those of you who have been paying attention, you know that because I'm the top martial artist, I have been sabotaged severely for years now, and I've been losing weight, and I'm getting very skinny. And there was a point when I was being drugged that I actually was putting on weight, and a lot of like bubbly weight. And there does seem to be some kind of technology being applied. I would like to point out that just because someone is from the same quote-unquote tribe as you are, or they look like you, doesn't mean that they're on your side. The Igbos have different villages, and the Arochukwu Oracle consciously was aware that they were selling the slaves to people who were cruel and indifferent, shrewd, and cunning businessmen who were trying to build Satan's kingdom abroad. Long ago, the people who were fighting for honor in the Americas, ever since the 1600s, died resisting the enemy. And that was back then, before technology made it a walk in the park for the enemies of God and those who twist Egyptian mythology to make their political and social groups look good. Could easily abuse us, rape women, and pedophiles. If you do not go against them as uncontrolled opposition and insist on the truth with an emphasis on African masculinity, regardless what race you are, because it is the main reason they're doing this, then you are helping them build their kingdom as controlled or opposition, or just controlled open cowards. So we go to Frederick Douglass, page 217. Again, I think he was controlled opposition, but he says some things that were partially true. Following his triumphant confrontation with Covey, echoes this sentiment, writing that a man without force is without the essential dignity of humanity. Thus, fighting ability under the right circumstances provided exceptional individuals with the force to demand dignity. Even the less fortunate who were killed in their attempts to defend their honor died fighting as proud women and men. Both they and the more successful claimed their bodies as their own. Those who resisted the dishonor of whippings disarmed their oppressor of their central means of physical discipline. Their resistance ideologically rejected their status as mere chattel objects and proclaimed their authority over their own bodies and their will above that of their enslavers. Okay, so even if they managed to lynch you and kill you, your will is greater than theirs, your spirit is greater than theirs, because you resisted their oppression, okay? And you did it going against the grain. So a lion who takes on a pack of wolves and dies before striking a single one of them is automatically more spiritually powerful than all of them and everyone who thinks like them put together, for that same reason. All right, so this part I put hiding your intentions. Okay, speaking of lions, how many of you understand what it means to have the lion's share? We will explore the difference between the king of the jungle and a bigger cat that's more fierce and considered more bold, that is not the lion in the Bible. Now, I've made this argument before, maybe 5-6 months ago or so, and I can't for the life of me see a way around it, so I'm pretty sure this is the truth of it. And even if it is not the correct animal to use, the truths are there. The lion's share and the difference between the lion and the tiger are key in understanding why I'm right. The lion is said to be the king of the jungle when it is in open or rocky areas, according to Webster's, that a lion exists. So a lion exists in open or rocky areas, not in the jungle. A Sambo is favorable to Uncle Sam in the story of a traitor child. Look up the story of Sambo. It's a very interesting story, and look up the historical context in which it is used. And it is used to be worse than an Uncle Tom. Less than an Uncle Tom is a Sambo. Also, ironically, I found a definition before where it said it was a Native American mixed with a black person. The mix to me really doesn't matter, but certainly there are people like that in the liberal parties that fit that description, with all due respect, and they do seem to be controlled opposition. I'd be very surprised if that wasn't the case. And so there might be a connection there, there might not be, but the main thing to remember is there are different definitions of this word, and this one is also key. It is also a form of international wrestling that uses judo techniques. Judo techniques, right? So a Sambo. You're a fucking house nigga that wants to wrestle instead of train people to use transferable skills to fight. Now, do people like me and Shaka play around? Stay tuned to the end of this video where I will show you a picture of me before they started drugging me so intensely that I started losing weight, and I can't even do, pull-ups and push-ups anymore without my entire body aching, especially my spine. The lion in Egyptian mythology is Sekhmet, which is favorable to a Greco-Roman view. Okay? So think about it. If they're referring to Jesus as Simba and so on, and the Lion King and so on, well, why is in Egyptian mythology the lion Sekhmet, a woman, and the leopard is Ra? And the leopard family are Osiris and Haru takes on the hawk form of Ra as well. This is kind of key. It has to do with the grace and the add the vantage point. Okay, it is a term that is used for a bold, strong, and fierce man with an intense spirit. I quite often cite 1 Peter 5:8, where the devil is called a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. If you combine Amos 9:7, which says that the Israelites are the same as the Ethiopians, with can the leopard change his spots, and can the Ethiopian change his skin, you start realizing that, hey, there's something there with this leopard, leopard, being the lion, the king of the jungle. And we'll get to that in a second. And it justifies the Igbo perspective of lush jungle vegetation with the leopard as king. If you go to Luke 23:31, for if they do these things in a green tree, what shall be done in the dry? So what happens in the desert if these things are done in the jungle? Right? So the leopard exists more in the lush kind of environment that's nature full. It's rich with nature and not some kind of desert, bald head, bald eagle, devil environment, eagle of Rome, killed Jesus, devil environment. The leopard must be the Lion of Judah, especially since Igbo is Judah. The leopard also adds the vantage, which makes him closer to God, physically and literally. So Shu was referred to as the lifter up of heaven. Now you'll see different versions of Egyptian mythology, and you have to understand what is sacred morality and what isn't and why. So Num, take with a grain of salt. Ptah, with a grain of salt. Shu is the lifter up of heaven. We'll get to Ptah in a second, and it's kind of key. Mark 10:18, a scripture I quoted quite frequently to argue Jesus as a Pharaoh type prophet and not as God. And Jesus said unto him, why callest thou me good? There's none good but one, that is God. So could Jesus get rid of his spots as well in the flesh? No. Hu as a bearded man represents command or authoritative utterance. Sia as the motive force behind creation and intelligence whereby the work of creation was expected. One way to look at it is Sia is Saya versus sire. It's kind of like nigga versus, one is with the ER, the E, right? And Ray backwards, ERRE. And one is with the A, right? The A team, the Avengers with an A, right? Who they're trying to be. The A is the hawk and not as the bull. And the difference between the hawk being similar to the leopard and the bull being more similar to the lion, the hippo, the dragon, etc. Okay? Which goes back to the jackal mixed with the leopard, making a panther, a black panther, okay? Wolf, as they try to misrepresent Osiris as well. All right, so Sia as the motive force behind creation and intelligence whereby the work of creation was executed. He was associated with Tot, god of wisdom and divine artificer. It was through the heart that men related their lives to moral precepts. Thus Sia was conscious and character. Okay, so it's intelligence, conscious as character. So it's the difference between a sapiosexual, the sap I of O, the sun, the reproductive cycle, sap the energy incrementally over time as a builder. Ptah as a serpent builder. We'll get to that in a second. Okay, with the green skin, Osiris with the green skin versus Osiris with the black skin. The Lord of the Blacks, the Sun Temple, melanin, right? There's a connection here. Okay, Sehem. Again, this is not so much racial as the direction you're going in. If you're a big fat person, should you not jog because there's somebody from another race who is more athletic than you are? Should all races not work out because blacks tend to be the most athletic? Or should we all move in the right direction? I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer here, right? All right, so Sehem, energy, was also an essential force in creation. So when you have psychiatrists, psyche, right, versus psycho, You know, he's psycho if he's mad at what we're doing when we're drugging kids and killing 500,000 people a year annually with psych meds alone globally, right? It's just despicable, unforgivable. And what do psych meds do? They sap your energy. They cause you to be skinny and skin and bones. And you don't get into that physical spirit, that Zulu kind of healthy body type, which I'll show you at the end of this video. It reminds me of I have to shoot through this now. Okay, Ptah Cult Center in Memphis, more often than not. Creation, fertility, serpents, fish, and his means of creation were spiritual and not physical. The patron of the arts, crafts, stonemasons, and metalworkers. So the Masons would love Ptah just like they would love Imhotep. They would love Imhotep over Mana or Menes or Anos, right? M is the ark, A-N-O-S, Anos. You know, a play on words, the sound, Anos. Okay, Anos the truth, not the E, not the stonemason, not the metalworker, not the crafty snake, right? So he's the deity of creation, serpents, and crafty snakes. Of course, there's a lionfish that has poisonous fins or something, right? Look it up, lionfish. Okay, to be crafty is not the way, so I reject the idea that Mana or Mene was the one who set up Ptah's cults in this red Greco-Roman mystery form. Remember, red is the color of the principle of evil. Incidentally, my shirt here, this is more of an orange. There's shades of red. He's not perfect. There's the leopard. There's the blue. Okay? So obviously people like me and Shaka Zulu were the ones running Egypt. I mean, not some fucking stonemason. Do we really have to get into that? It's like, duh. And Apollo, the god of arts and science, right? Ptah, Apollo. Okay? Apollo, appalled, and so on. Okay, Apollo, Ptah. Okay, Ptah, Apollo. The T is silent. Apah. It's one way to look at it. You know, if the shoe fits, wear it. The wordplay's a little off. You just use it as a way to remember the idea. The liberals chose pagan white supremacy, justifying the destruction and twisting of religions by selfishness and conservative white supremacist views. I am alone now and lonely without a wife or love. Here's a picture of how I looked before they used drugs and some kind of smart nanotechnology. I'll put it on the screen now. To make me all bony and full of aches. I watched the rest of my life go by as my teeth hurt and I suffer from mainly covert drug-related ailments. Curse all attractive women for mocking me their own way on my way out. You treated me like LAPD treats, you know, a panther, a king, and a hero. Kind of like the Tupac song, you know. Kill a nigga, he's a hero. All right. Curse white supremacy, gays, and all fake Egyptian narratives, especially feminists, for how you turn women against me. My goodness. For the subtle gay elements of my tattoos and destroying evidence of black Egypt. So there's one tattoo shop in Gilroy that did my tattoos. They put subtle gay elements in. The guy was kind of gay, and I gave him the benefit of the doubt those years ago. And, you know, this is what happens when you give the enemies of God the benefit of the doubt or a chance to redeem themselves or do the right thing. They just stab you in the back again. This is why martial arts needs to end that with their technology and stuff. They literally have technology. They can strip your strength and your bones structure away from you and reform you. They can use it to make them more impressive physically, and they can use it to shrink your dick, to shrink your body, and I'm going to say it. That's what they've been doing. The result of them dehydrating me and drugging my drinks and food is they have shrunk my fucking dick and to a certain degree, and I'm having trouble putting on weight and sustaining food and holding it down. I'm really suffering here. And if you think I'm lying, I don't know what the fuck to tell you. Yeah, people lie about that all the time, right? All right, where was I? I am the ideal man, even now, and you settle for spiritual death. Even now, I'm more well-hung than a lot of these scientist pussies. We'll get into that. If you help God's eugenicist enemies control reproduction by even laughing at my expense, you lose your soul. All right, so how many of you think that I should be punished by women, you know, even more after I'm about to turn 37 this year, and the best years of my life are gone? How many of you respect them for helping pedophiles, you know, people who call themselves Masons build the kingdom of Satan and not carry their cross? How many of you think that I'm wrong for expecting women to show me more love when I'm the top martial artist and the real descendant of the pharaoh in the New Egypt, the pyramid on the $1 bill, Vegas, Egyptian artwork, Fry's Electronics in Campbell or San Jose, with your Egyptian stuff. Man, you guys are fucking just Dexter.